victory is that far off. Two other points I want to emphasize briefly. One, you know, I am horrified, and this is a general problem, not just in Scotland, but all over Europe, is that history is increasingly hidden from people, especially radical history. They're not taught it, they don't know about it. I remember coming to Scotland about, I don't know, I come here often 8, 9 years ago to do a program for the BBC on my beliefs or non-beliefs or whatever it was. No, it was their version of Desert Island Discs. And they said, what music would you like? So I chose appropriate pieces of music. But then I said, I want to hear John McGrath's John McLean song, sung by, or Hamish Henderson's song, a song I even named the singer. And I'm not kidding, the researcher who was talking to me at the other end, she said, who's Hamish Henderson? So I said, explain. I said, and then she said, I hope you don't mind my asking, but who's John McLean? I said, I actually do mind your asking. Because you should know who John McLean is. He's one of the heroes of Scotland. And I remembered him this year when this semi-chauvinistic celebration of the First World War was taking place. Once again, trying to rewrite the history of what was an ugly, vicious war fought to build empires of the world. And John McLean, who refused to fight in the war, stood in the dock of a Glasgow court explaining why, and saying, I will not fight for a capitalism dripping with blood from head to foot. If that had been the answer of the entire working class of these islands, we would have had a revolution here. And you can go back beyond that. I was handed a book by an old friend earlier. I haven't managed to read it. But it's The Liberty Tree, the stirring story of Thomas Muir and Scotland's first fight for democracy, where Thomas Muir, excited, encouraged by the French Revolution, started a campaign for one man, one vote. Unfortunately, it wasn't one person, one vote, but those were different times. One man, one vote. Adult franchise, male franchise for Scotland. A revolutionary demand at the time. What did they do to him, the rulers of this country? They arrested him for sedition. He said in court, like John McLean, but in 1793, I have devoted myself to the cause of the people. It is a good cause. It shall ultimately prevail. It shall finally triumph. And for that and numerous other things he's done, he was put in chains and packed off to Botany Bay in Australia, like many other dissidents from this country and from the United Kingdom, so to speak. So this history is extremely important, because to try and wipe out history, the young generations growing up now have no idea what happened just in the middle of the last century. Because some of these ideas, just knowing that these things were possible, is considered subversive. Bernie talked about the National Health Service, but you know, Britain wasn't very well off after the war. It was a devastated society, destroyed by the war, hardly any money in the bank. The Treasury was bankrupt. Yet, despite all that, Attlee and Nye-Bevan insisted that Britons had to have a health service free at the point of production. Free for every single person. They would no longer have to pay money for medicine. Where did they find the money from? They found it. It was there. And there is even more money now in the coffers of the state. which they spend on wars and other things and bribing each other. 9 billion, they're saying the health service in a crisis, 9 billion allocated to the health service is going to go in the pockets of private companies because they've privatized sections of the health service. And I tell you one thing very easily that an independent Scotland could and should do is set up a nationalised pharmaceutical industry that produces all